Okay, so let's go back to our pyramid. You know there are 6 steps in the, or 6 levels on the pyramid drawing. So we're going to go back there and see where we are. We're on the 5th one, just 2 more steps to go. But those 2 steps, you will see the way we will cover it now. It will all be covered in one. So tonight we should be able to finish the whole thing. Where is our pyramid now? This is the pyramid. So we started from the bottom up. The main values of life, then from there we extract our global life purpose. Then from global life purpose, who could tell me what follows? General plan. And you have an idea what general plan is? You've not forgotten yet? Okay, that's where you begin to be more concrete. Then from general plan, you go to a long-term plan. You have an idea of what long-term, that's what we did this morning? Yes. Okay, so tonight we are going to be doing short-term plan and plan for the day. So the way we are going to approach the plan for the day is not the way motivational speakers do, which makes them to say, okay, plan today, then tomorrow, then next year, then no. So we are planning everything starting from our main values of life. The most important thing we live for, what we're obsessed with, is from there. You see, everything will come out from there. So let's go back to where we are going to continue from. Okay, so here we start. Short-term plan for 1 year. Short-term plan for 1 year. And then after that, 1 year short-term plan. Short-term plan is always 1 year. So intermediate plan could be, mid-term plan, intermediate plan could be 5 to 10 years. But long-term plan is 10 to 20 years, 25 years. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah. Number 5, short-term plan for 1 year. Short-term plan, identifying the routines, repetitive actions that are necessary in order to get the desired result.
That, you still don't understand what that means, even though you read it. But I'm sure you don't understand. But let's keep on going. We will come back to it to explain it. Okay.
You have to believe in the long-term plan you have, but you need the short-term goals to motivate and inspire you.
See, apart from the long term.
How to make a plan for the year. How to make a plan for the year. Number 1, determine what actions need to be taken to achieve the goal. Number 2, turn these actions into routines. Number 3, plan the year around the routines.
So I'm just making you to read through, but I will come back and explain. Now it will be too tough for you to understand. So let's just keep on reading. I will stop at a point and come back and explain what you are reading, okay?
Example of Pastor Sunday. Global life goal of Pastor Sunday includes planting 10,000 churches and non-profit organizations to educate 50,000 ministers. But planting churches and an organization is impossible without people. Determine the most effective actions. We need to determine the most effective action through which people will be coming constantly. For example, evangelization, TV sermons, sermons in church. All of them must be routines. All of them must be routines, constantly repeated actions. To gather a crowd is not enough. The ultimate goal, to turn all these people into 50,000 members.
Okay, just a minute.
Sorry.
Ministers, just a minute. This will distract you. Read from here.
Routine should discipline us. All of these routines discipline Pastor Sunday. He puts himself in the frames. Routines are the frame of annual, monthly, and daily plan. Routines lead us to the goal every day.
Okay, don't worry. Okay. Yeah, let's read this.
Pastor Sunday's routines. Periodicity is important. Scripture reading, prayer refers to God. Personal,
That means it relates to God, really. It's a translation. That is in relationship to God.
personal prayer retreat in relation to God.
That is like solitude, right?
Meeting with pastors' team. Meeting with regional pastors. Meeting with pastors of Kiev churches. Retreats. Mentorship groups. Anointing service. Leadership school. That's 2 to 4 times per year depending on the needs. Pastoral school 1 per year. Bible school. Record daily addressing to church. Writing books.
Okay. Now let's go back. So we are now going to go back to, this is short-term plan where we are in, but to remind you and to really get you, that's why I say you really need to be alert. So if you need, get your coffee, and if you need to get your chocolate, because you need to be alert now. So, but to help you, I'm going to go backward a little bit. I'm going to go back to my goals, because your plan, short term and long term and short term, and even daily routine has to come from your goals, from your global purpose. Okay, so let's go back to my global purpose. Oh, am I going forward or back? I need to go back. Okay. Okay, these were already done. These were the long term, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's just start from here.
Goals for the next 5 years, intermediate for Ukraine. Number 1, 100 churches, God's embassy with 1,000 members in Ukraine. Number 2, 100 to 1,000 reformers and activists. Number 3, 200 to 300 refuge towns. Number 4, 1,000 churches.
Okay, so you remember the your global purpose? Though you moved from that global purpose and went to general plan and wrote the specifics. Okay, so that that global purpose that you have, it became specifics in general plan, and from general plan you made plan of how you are going to raise people in long-term plan. But when you want to make it when you want to make it short-term plan, go back to your long-term plan like this, or you could go back to your general plan, or you could even go back to your global purpose, but just the one where you've defined it. So you need to capture, when it comes to short-term plan, you need to capture the generality of your vision, the one you want to do in the next 1 year. Short-term plan is always between one day to 1 year. So you have these plans for 25 years. You have broken it down to 20, to 25 years. You've broken it out to 10, 10, 5. That stops at long term. Then short term is it could be one year minimum, 1 day to 1 year. But you already have, okay, so you take the last thing you wrote for the 5 years, the last thing the first thing you want to do first, you will take it one every year. So these 5 years now, So you've identified it, but you take it, don't just leave it 5. Do 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. So what we are going to do now is we are going to learn how to set those 1 year calendar plan. So for the next 5 years, I'm setting this year. I know what I want for the 5 years. It's already in general. But now I must begin to do it, bring it to the very steps, details, actions now. So it's 1 year, then I will repeat that 1 year. 1 year is enough. I will repeat it the next year. I could correct it in the following year. Some things that I make, where I was able to make it, where I was not able to make it, where I made some mistakes or miscalculations. So those only 1 year you make, but you just keep on improving it for the next 5 years. I don't know if I'm coming across. So what you need to really know now is the most important thing. How do I take this my 5 years plan and break it into 1 year? And that 1 year is because it's not just 1 year ahead, it's 1 year till today. So it means that those 5 years plan, you have to be doing them even from today, from the next day you start. So how do I do that? So I want 100 churches of God's Embassy Church with 1,000 members each. So, and I want 1,000 reformers and 300 cities of refuge and 1,000 new churches. So these are concrete, you remember, these are just concrete ideas for the next 5 years. So what do? I have to think, and this for you now, I'm doing this for you. I have to think, since I'm working with people, is another thing if I'm working with factories, if I'm an inventor, if I am a businessman. But I'm talking about most things you will do anyway will have to do with people, but let's use my own example as people. So if I want to build 100 churches with 1,000 members each, it means I must have access to people. So the very first challenge I have to resolve is how to I have to always be in touch with people on a daily basis. And one of the keys to that are leaders, reformers, activists. So I have to pay. So number 1 point talks about, the routine that I'm going to set has to put me among people, getting people on a daily basis. The second routine has to put me in a place of developing from people to leaders, then to reformers and to activists. Then the next one, cities of refuge. That will take training. So I have to include trainings like HMT. So then 1,000 churches, that also takes training, development of pastors. So I have to include pastors, meeting with pastors and things like that. So what is a year short-term plan? In a year short-term plan, what you do is you decide. You first of all sit down and write down these ones here. You just sit down and write down what are the most important activities that I need to do for people to always keep on coming. That is the first point, because I need people. Without people, none of those things will happen. So what should I do, and how often, how important is that? How often should I do it? So for example, when it comes to people coming, do I have to put program on TV? Do I have to go ahead and do like I did in the beginning, go ahead and invite people on my own and plead with them the same strategy I used? So, but it has to be, if I really need people, then I want to make it every day. So that kind of thing will be, so in my calendar, there's things you have to, first of all, I make a list. So what I need for people, I make a list of all this. Evangelism, outreach, video, Facebook, outreach. I must be among people, or getting people, I must be giving people. So that's one. Then what about leaders? I need to develop leaders. So I must have, that is for another one. So I have 5 activities here, or 7 activities here that I do to get people. So since there are 7 and they're so important, I'll put it every day, Monday to Monday. Then I need activities to grace leaders. So, and these people are busy, they might not be able to, they are family people, I cannot get them every day. So how many times should I have leaders meetings? Okay, I could have, for one, if it's so urgent, I will have for the categories of youth or for the categories of these leaders, political leaders, I could have, different kind of, in our place is so complex, but let me make it easy. Let's say leaders meetings, I would say once a week to train them so that I don't disturb them of their life and their vision as well. So we say, let's say once a week. I just put leaders meeting once a week. What are the other things I want to do with leaders? Maybe I want to do training for them, HMT for them. Okay, let's do once a month training. So I need to determine what are the activities. For you to do short-term 1-year plan, you need to determine the activities that will lead you to your goal, that will lead you, so that each time you take that activity, you are carrying out your goals. So for example, book writing is one of my goals. So I need 3 days a week to just be writing books, 8 hours a day. So I put it, book writing is another thing. So I put book writing, I have it 3 times. I determine how many times I need them a week. So, so you have 3 categories of, so you have a calendar. You have a calendar like this. Okay, you have a calendar like this. You see calendar now? Mm-hmm. Now we are moving backward. Remember that calendar. Then, remember those 3 letters you see, those 3 words you see in the bottom. Yeah. So once you make a list, you make this list of all the activities that are needed to bring to pass each one of your goals. Then you have to now come and determine which one of that list of activities has to be annually, monthly, or daily. So you don't need to do daily planning like the motivational speakers are telling you. You take your global plan, general plan, you determine what are these activities that will lead you to fulfilling each one of those global plans that you have, general plans that you have. Once you have defined the activities, 10, 5, 6, how often, then you have to decide for yourself, will I be conducting them, considering your situation, your work, or the people you work with and things. So you determine, like I said, evangelism, I will be doing it maybe every day, maybe twice a week. You determine. So for example, there are things that are every day. For me, relationship with God is every day. But solitude, that is already every month. Mm-hmm. Then annual something, leaders training. I say I will not do it annually, I will do every 3 months. So that is 4 times a year. So by the time you find calendar and you put leaders training and you put them 4 times in a year, what do you call them? The 4 quarterly. Once you put them quarterly, once, one, and you fix a date for them. Those dates in that 1-year calendar are already busy. Then once you take solitude every month, maybe from the 1 week, maybe let's say the 3rd week of every month, or the maybe 3rd weekend of every month. So you put that already and mark them out from January to the end of the year. So you have planned daily, automatically. I mean, not daily, but that we are going to get to daily. Then, so you have already marked all that out for the whole year. Then let's look at the activities that are monthly. So for example, I go to church monthly to talk to leaders and pastors like I did last time. So I have the monthly. Every month is already, secured. Then I have leaders, I have HMT, like trainings like this. I used to do training every weekend. So I already put every week. That is weekly. So that is all throughout the year. Then I have my daily schedule. We are going to show you now. Okay, let's see. For example, because some of the things that there are some things that I didn't really write in the goal, but you remember my, like solitude, like prayers. You know, I didn't write them in my general plan, but you remember my obsession. That is why you saw that word in relations to God, because it's my obsession. So everything that is in relation to God, they become my priority. So in relations to God, I have daily, like I told you, my 10th of the day. So those are daily. So daily, I have personal relationship with God. Daily. 3 hours. Reading, self-education. That is all belonging in that fundamental values. Those are my values. Those are not work. Those are not activities. Those are values. So those come daily. Then you know, all other activities, there are so many activities that I have. They come, some of them come weekly, some of them come, I didn't write weekly there, sorry. You need to have weekly there. Annually, monthly, weekly, daily. So something like this, routine, solitude, all that, they are not in the general plan, but because they are in the fundamental, their relationship with God, they are the basis of, they are not activities, they are like relationship. They are my passion, obsession. So those go in there. So these things now, so these are the activities that I need to be doing, but now come and see them. By the time they are put here, you see, you have, so let's say the pink represents, that's a week, right? In a week. That represents maybe something I do 2 times a week. The other thing that is brownish, light brown, that's 5 times. That represents something that I do 5 times a week. The white represents another thing I do twice a week. So that way, that whole week is occupied. Or maybe not, it's not just that whole week, there are some things you do, is all, that is how the whole year is feel like up like this. So you are supposed to have a calendar that shows a year like this. So, but since it's weekly or something, the weekly ones or the monthly ones, something, so that is how you fill out. All those your activities will fill out but you don't need to fill everything out. Because those ones, but make sure that you build all those, you fill into your program, into the calendar, all those your vision and how many times you want to do it. Now you will discover that there will be about 40% of your calendar that is still free. Don't force it. Don't fill it up. Your goal has been incorporated already. If you go and say, I have too much time left or something still left, and then you are going to use that to push yourself, you push yourself to the corner. You will not have, you will not have freedom to maneuver. But you never should fill your whole day up, even with your goals. You should always fill up 60%. Then leave other 40% out for you to recreate, for you to read, for you to just do things you like, for you to, wash something, for you to pay attention to your family, for you to pay attention to your whatever you need to do also. So don't push yourself to the corner whereby it's too tight, and then when you miss one, you begin to blame yourself, and then you cannot make the other one. But this way you will always be able to redeem anything you didn't make, and you are still in charge, but you have already planned the most important thing in your life. The most important thing in your life are those, the routines that are your plans that you have put in there. And since they are already there, that is the most important thing. All the rest is just your freedom, and to be able to either double even what you are already doing or to do it more intensely, but you have that freedom. So ideally, only plan 60% as the law, the ones that cannot be negotiated. Then the 40% that is there, you can now use it for other things to make to make you free enough to be able to add to it, and do other things as well. So this is the general introduction. Now we are going to go back to this short-term something, and you will now be able to understand it better. Now we are going to begin to read now for real. But when we are reading it at first, it would have been more difficult for you without this introduction. So this is just introduction, and you have not got it yet, but at least it will prepare you to begin to know and understand what is ahead. So now let's start again.
Number 5, short-term plan for 1 year. Short-term plan, identifying the routines, repetitive actions that are necessary in order to get the desired results.
So what are routines? Now, in English language, do routines sound boring and oppressive, or they are just normal words?
They sound boring.
They sound boring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even if you go for interviews, one thing they would want to find out if you are the kind of person who is a routine person, or somebody who enjoys doing something, different things.
Okay.
In a
Spontaneous.
day. Yes, yeah. And most times you see the answers that people will give you, and that's my experience and perception. The answer they're expecting is for you to tell them that I'm not the kind of person who like routine. But I think it also depends on the kind of job that you're going for. Yeah, but generally they see routine as something boring. Yeah.
Good. All right, so now listen closely. Most people in the world see routines as something very boring and something very depressing. But listen to me here. There is nothing more powerful in life than routines.
Because it makes you
Yes.
very
Yes. So routines are some of the greatest things you could make yourself to have. You've got to put your whole life in routines. Achievers and great accomplishers, their secret is that thing that people don't like. You see, ordinary people, failures in life, they do the direct opposite of what the success people do in life. Great achievers do they do what failures don't like to do. Okay, let me tell you what. Successful people are people who do or who force themselves to do what even they don't like to do. But failures in life are people who only do what they like to do and don't do what they don't like to do. Maybe I should repeat that again. Failures go by their emotions, likes and dislikes. So, for example, Victor or Anu will write a letter for me and will write some papers for me, and they want to do it fast. And I get the paper and I say, why is it that I can't see paragraphs and I can't see comma here? Or why is it that this one is grammar, there is spelling mistake here? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, we'll do it now. We'll correct it now. Why? Because they wanted to, nobody wants to do something boring, something that is going back again to examine, it's going through that cycle of doing minute kind of things over and over again. Everybody just wants to finish complete. That's exactly what all of us are. Even successful people themselves and achievers, they don't like to do those things. But because of what they know, they force themselves to do even what they don't like to do.
Paying attention to details.
So they pay attention to details, they go over and over again. People don't like that to do that. All of us don't like.
Yeah.
But the people who become successful in life are the ones who have forced themselves to always do those things that they don't feel like doing. And one of those things are routines. Everybody wants to be a free bird, kind of. I fly when I want to fly. I fly out, I fly in, I do anything I want to do at any time. Everybody are like that. But successful people, they know better. They know that if they are going to achieve the goals they want to achieve, or if they want to get to the place they want to get to, they've got to force themselves to sit down in one place 6 hours, 8 hours every day, doing what is painful for them to do. For example, if you know me, I'm a people person. I'm an outrovert, or what do you call it?
Extrovert.
Extrovert. I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert. I like to relate with people. That's my life. That's what I enjoy. I don't struggle to relate with people. But when I came to God, in one particular church, they almost put it out of me. I had to relearn it. But anyway, and when I was a child, I used to struggle from timidity and inferiority complex. So it was, circumstances wanted to kill that thing in me. But once I rediscovered it, that is natural for me. But every day I force myself to do the opposite. Because I know the result that I want, it is not by going about laughing and shaking everybody that will give it to me. It is by sitting in one place alone, working hard, developing, adding value, creating value. So I make myself, I don't go anywhere. You ask guys, unless I need to go to court or go to church. I don't go to bad days. I don't go to, sometimes I do, some people get me to do it, but there are not things I do. I don't go to restaurant. I don't go to, not that I cannot, I can, but I'm too, I have routines. I have locked myself into the routine. So the routine is more important than me now. I am a servant to those routines. That's why I say you should have 40% free. So you are, whereby you are a servant to your 60% you have planned, you don't have a word there. The authority is on the routine you've made. You are a slave to that routine. You don't have a word. You don't have opinion. You've got to do what you have planned out. That's why it's good for you to now relax, to have another 40% where you could be anything you want. I don't know, you get it now?
Yes.
So if you still want to go to party, you can still go there. If you still want to go and shout, you can still do it. But when you are doing those other ones that you already planned out, which are your destiny, that's when it's non-negotiable. You can't meet with anybody. You cannot, attend to calls or something. Those are the things you have to do at that time. So routine, therefore, what is the difference between plans and routine? A plan is like what we did in the afternoon, in the morning. You plan out that you want to do this, you want to do this. But until you put these plans, and what we are doing now is a plan too, but I'm combining plan and routine. If you only plan, then you are still outside of that plan until it has become routine. Because when it is planned, you decide still. You are not underneath it. You decide. I am going to do it, I will not do it, I can change my mind, I can do. You are still the Lord. So I don't make it, I didn't make it. Okay, maybe I'll do it next time. I couldn't make it. You are outside of your plan. The plan is just like orientation for you. Just approximate things you want to do. But when you lock in plan into routines, you make yourself to be a slave to those routines. You don't have a say anymore. The routine takes prominence. You put yourself in the wheel. You cannot jump out. In a running wheel, you cannot jump out. You are a slave to that routine. That's why you hardly see me planning. Out of the 3 years that I've started my You know, some people could just say, Pastor, but you are tired, or Pastor, but you are this. Why don't you miss it? You hardly, even when I'm in solitude, I'm not missing my broadcast. Because I've made myself slave to it. But I see people, I couldn't, hello friends, I'm sorry, I couldn't come out today at 5 o'clock. Yeah, some things happen. Because you didn't become a slave to it. Yeah, although you have told people that every 5 o'clock, but because it didn't work out, I'm sorry guys, it didn't work out. We'll come at 7. Then you are still a freelancer. So, but when you have a plan, but you don't have a routine. But when it's routine, even if you cannot physically be there, somebody will still be there. That thing will still be going on. Or you are in the road, like me. Sometimes I will be in the car, going to court. I will go and be doing something in the car.
Even at the court.
Sometime in the court, I will go to the room. I will go to another room there and begin. They call me, I'm waiting for you in the room. I quickly finish and run there.
I saw the one you did in the toilet.
In the toilet. I had to run to the toilet to do it. Why? Because I became a slave of the plan, thanks to routine. So people will be looking at me and say, what kind of man is this? It's not because of what I know, it's because of what I know and the system. I am a man under authority. Under the authority of the decision. Even though I'm the one who took that decision. But we have agreed. Once I took that decision, I must oblige by it myself.
So that's the nature of God.
Yes.
I've exalted my word above my name.
Integrity.
Yeah?
I said that's integrity.
Integrity, yeah. That integrity has to be to yourself. That is the real holiness. That is the real holiness, integrity. Because real holiness or integrity, what is the definition of integrity? Integrity means your ability to keep to the promises you made, not to other people but to yourself. That other people didn't hear about. Just those thoughts that you are telling yourself all the time. Integrity is to what level are you able to keep up to it? But the one you give to people, you always try to make that one because you want to look good. That's egocentrism, it's not integrity. That is why integrity always comes in ratios. So there is nobody in life that can be 100% perfect or holy in integrity. You will always negotiate with yourself. But the ratio. So for example, what is ratio? Ratio is, so let's say you gave 10 promises to yourself and you're only able to keep 2. So that's 2 to 10 ratio. So the closer the ratio is, the higher your integrity level. So if you are able to keep 8 out of 10, it means you are a person of integrity. But nobody will be able to keep 10 out of 10. You cannot work out. But you at least you are not 1 to 10. Or 0 to 10. That's what we call integrity. So you are not building your life on the basis of what you tell people or what people see. The gauge for your life, therefore, is what you don't tell people, what people are not aware of, but what you tell yourself. So that's where integrity is. It doesn't have anything to do with scarf or lipstick. That's your lipstick, by the way. Is it pink? It's a good one, though. Beautiful color, beautiful color, beautiful color. So integrity doesn't have to. Only the integrity doesn't have to do with all those things. It has to do with inside. Inside. Those things that nobody is saying. But God sees, but you too see. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I got to take that. I was not planning to go that way. Where was even I before? Okay, routine.
Routines.
So routines is, so the difference between routine and a plan is you can still change it. You can still say, I didn't make it, I'm late. Or okay, let's come next tomorrow. I didn't make it today. Okay, no program today. I'm sorry, there will be no program today. We will just come tomorrow. Or for example, you could say, okay, we couldn't make it for 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Let's do it in 2 hours time. So it doesn't even matter if nobody will show up. They don't know that you are orienting yourself by what by your own integrity, by your own word to yourself. So routine is not even integrity. You don't even promise. When it's routine, you decide one time when the plan is made, when the program is made. You don't need to promise again. No integrity needed when you understand routine. You don't need to be integrity is when you promise, you have to try to keep it. But when it's routine, you agreed. You work data out. Is this what we want to do? You yourself, or with yourself, you agreed one time and you put it in the program, in the plan. You don't need to promise anymore. You just need to, now put your alarm or whatever you have. Anything that will be reminding you, or clock in your computer that, okay, according to your routine, you put in the alarm. So you are a slave to it. So that one, you don't even have to try to keep your promise. It's not your promise anymore. It's out of your hand. Once you have made that decision that these are the things we are doing, 60% has been planned out, and all the program is out of your hand. It's like you want to appear to work at work. You are a slave to that program. So you don't even have a say in here and that one. Just like you go, it's done. The same principle you've got to use for your finances. So in finances, for example, like I am Pastor Bosse, and the income that I have monthly, we have sat down. The first year of our marriage, we were sitting down every month just to build a system. So every month, we sat down one time, built a system, a policy like this. What are the most important things we want to be using these things for? This was 25 years ago. So but we are fine-tuning it for 1 year. Once it's perfect, this is before we had children, but we have budgeted for them, for children, 4 years before they were born. The income, out of our income, what is going to them. And that was, since that time, was the time we were giving, we call it tithe, but we don't believe in tithe, but tithe is 10%, but we had budgeted from then, 25 years ago, 25% tithe for God. That's what we do. No, 20% and then 5% for giving of anything we have for us giving for people. So anyway, whatever we give, let's say giving, let's say not tithe. Giving a month is 25% of our income. So we've budgeted all that. So that 1 year, we were always fine-tuning. But since that first year, we never sit down because she is very disciplined. So that thing we have agreed 25 years ago, that is what is still working for us today. Wow. So how much percentage go for savings, how much percentage go for children, how much percentage go for me as my pocket money, goes for her as her pocket money, how much percentage go to our parents and our relatives, how much percentage comes to my parents and my relatives, how much percentage goes for mercenaries and upkeep, how much percentage goes to church, how much percentage goes to random people who are in needy people around us. So in 25 years, so that's a system, right? So that system was put priority, plan, and then logged into routine for the rest of our life. So I might not have money myself in my hand, but that doesn't mean we are all broke. Because, for example, I don't have money. I've spent my pocket money. I gave it out, for example. I used it. I don't have money. But in the column that is for children, for example, maybe there is $1 million there, but I cannot touch it because it's not mine. Because we had, so it's like that kind of decision. So I don't have, it's not me, it's nothing I can. Because the decision has been taken. I'm a slave to that decision. So the same policy we have with the church. So for example, in the house here, I might not have, because we need $15,000 just for the upkeep of this house every month. So I might not have money for the upkeep of the house because it was too much than we budgeted for. But I dare not go to Pastor Bose or to church to ask for anything because it's all out of order. I've got to believe God for it. So that's the power of routine. You become a slave to it, to your decision.
This is something, and I'm trying to see how we can bring ourselves there. I think that's what's more or less playing in my mind. So how would you encourage us that more or less just don't plan for, you plan for children, you plan for everything. How can one start to bring himself to that place where they make plans for things?
It has to all be broken down from your life goals, your life purposes. Like we are breaking them down now. We will still go, right? Everything I'm saying right now is still introduction. Just to let you know, we are still going to go through the notes. But you should just know that there is something in the American law, democracy, that is, it's called equality before the law. So the law is like the word or promise or law, legislation. So equality before the law means that even though you are the senator that passed that law applies to you. Yeah. Even though you are the president that signed it, that word, that law is above you. So that once that thing, you yourself, you are the one who signed it. Once it's signed and passed, the word is more than you. Just like with God, God has exalted his word above his name. So that's the way we are supposed to live. Once we take decisions have been taken. Before it's taken, you can do anything you want. But once it has been agreed upon, and decisions taken like that, you've got to honor them. For example, there are some things now that I'm trying to change in the way I do things, because before, I used to give people who surround me just opportunity to, for example, anything that anybody is doing is in charge of it, and I'm not. So those are the things, because I've given my word. It's taking me years I want to do another policy. So before I do another policy, I've got to bring them in, even though I'm the boss. But since I had given my word like that, I cannot just go and say I change it. So I've got to bring everybody that has interest that this one could affect. Okay, do you agree with this? Is it the way, or something? Okay, let's agree. Let's do this. I have to explain to them, please, it didn't work out. Or please, these things have changed. Now let's try to change this. I have to appeal to them, even though they are my staff and my members and even workers. But I've got to, my word that I had agreed for before them, not because I want to please God, though. This is just because these are policies. This is the way things work. It is. If you have listened to the Truth series, truth are the things that make the world go around. 2 + 2 has to be 4. Once that decision is made, 1 + 1 has to be 2. But before the decision is made, you can still be deliberating or something. So that is how routine is. Routine is different. So if you have not lived on the level of routine before, you are a free man on one hand, but that also explains why you are not super successful. So, but when you live by routine, you are super successful. You will be successful automatically, even if you don't want it again. As long as yes, as long as you keep on just obeying the routine, the routine will just give you the same predictable results. Yes. 2 of you want to talk. Who starts first? Okay, she is closer.
I have a question. So in relation to the establishing the routine, especially in the family setting, because I found that really interesting. What if, especially in the financial area, because sometimes we struggle, a lot of us that are married struggle with that area a lot.
You shouldn't. It's very easy. That
Yeah,
is the
but
easiest.
So if the other person breaks the rule, what
No, you
happens
cannot
then?
break the rules. It's very simple. You want me to give you the policy? There is something that is called financial policy when it comes to family. And I have it in my family series in video. But let me just give you a gist of it. So I have a video that's called, in the family series, you'll see the finances. But there is something that is called family policies. I started practicing this since 27 years old. So the family policy is, for example, in our family is different. You don't have to do, especially people who are listening to me, because after my message, why I don't drive and my wife doesn't cook, I'm still receiving up to today. I'm still receiving up to today letters from men who are angry at me. So this one is pure that you have to find, because I'm just answering. I'm just answering a question, and you don't have to do it, okay? But my philosophy of life, and those of you who are in church with me on Sunday, you will know, I'm not saying God said though, but that's just my philosophy of life. And I could fail too. And like I talk about on Sunday that, I thought I would only be caring for Pastor Bosse. She would never need to care for me. But, with life, I discovered that things happen that she will also need to take care of me. But anyway, but my own philosophy of life till today in our family is this. My wife doesn't contribute to family budget. I don't care how much money she's making. She could be making more than me. She could be making 10 times more than me. I don't care. I don't even know how much she's making. She doesn't contribute. Whatever runs our family comes from me. So I make the money. I put it. We make a budget for it. So let's say that's the money that is the budget. So she is my wife. And what that means is that I asked her to come and join me, to live a life and submit her life to be at Mrs. Adelaja, to come and live with me. She was living her own life independent, so she had her own last name. I put her to come and, be under me. So I have to take responsibility for that. Otherwise, I will be deceiving her. So I said, be my wife, I will take care of you. So I have to keep to that word. So she is my wife. Because of that, I make money, and the money I make is available there. It's like we never say money I make. It's just now I'm using it just for you to know. But it's our money. It's called family money, family budget. It's not me. You never hear I. That's just what comes. So so what we have to decide to do in the family is who is more shrewd and prudent, shrewd and prudent in terms of money. In our own case, if I get $1 million right now, I'm going to distribute it before I never have anything in my pocket because of that. So I know it cannot be me. So that's why I confess to her immediately. And she is very good. So whenever I get any envelope, which is my income, not the blessings. The blessings I could have more freedom with that one. Whatever comes. But whatever my income is, I don't even open the envelope. Or the account, I don't even go there. I don't even go to the account. I don't even know the account. I don't even have the credit card. So the envelope goes to her immediately. Because she's the manager. Because you remember we planned it, we decided. It's not automatic. So in your family, if your wife is the spending one, then maybe it's the guy that we want to be in charge. But I'm afraid of making guys be in charge of money. Because it is easy, especially if he's the one making that money. Even if he's not the one making it. It's easy for him to say that, okay, how much do you need for the fish? But I gave you $2 yesterday. Where did you spend that? Did you go and use it for lipstick? You don't want to, so that's why I'm very wary about men being in charge of finance. But if he's a man of discipline, if he knows what it means to just be, it's just functioning there. It's not because it's head or something. It's just about somebody who is more prudent, who is more shrewd. So let's say him or her. So in our own family, it's her. So she, all the thing comes to her. Now, but she is not in, it's not her money. And she doesn't use it. She's not the one in charge of, spending it. Who is in charge? The 25 years ago, we both sat down and made policies. So it is the policies that are in charge, not her, not me. Even though she's the one signing the papers and she's the one giving out the card, but it's just like her hands doing it. But it is our common decisions that are doing that. I don't know if you are getting it. Yes. She cannot violate the rules too. It will be out of order. So now, for us not to have any problem, that's why I said we sat down together one day. It only took one day. We agreed how much percentage is going for this, how much percentage is going for this, how much percentage is going for this, how much is this, how much is going for investment, how much. So we agreed on all that. Earlier, we incorporated everything. Now, could something be changed there? Yes, that's why one whole year we needed to keep on coming back to fine tune and to tweak it and to, see things how they work. So, but once we reach a final agreement like that, she is just doing a job, just like going to work, and she's working and doing what you need to do at work. So there shouldn't be any problem. Now, there might be situations but I don't have money because I never see the envelope, I never see anything. But you remember that one of the articles, one of the policies that I have a certain percentage just for my upkeep, just for my own, anything I want I could use for it, just for my own pocket money, you could say. And she has her own, for her own pocket money. She might never use them, I don't care. And I might never use my own, she doesn't care too, it's not a problem. I could even return it. I could even not touch it. That is already something but it is in that article and in that account. So there is no issue in, we don't even discuss it. We don't even talk money because the policies talk it for us. The order has spoken it long time. But maybe there's something I'm not clear, I'm not saying, or maybe I'm not clear enough, I don't know. You wanted to say something? Okay.
You're clear, it's just trying to get your mind around doing something along those lines. That's the challenge, to see that you had for 25 years. I mean, that's not something you hear of. That for what you did 25 years, you're still doing the same thing till today.
Not the same thing, just policies. Things could be different, but policy remain the same. Just like America, there are laws that have been existing for 200 years. Only in a few instances, they had to change some amendments. And the amendment, they have to get 2/3 of something to agree. It's very difficult, the same thing. 200 years is much more than 25 years. But that's the policy. The word, the principle have to be more than the personality. Because you will go, you will die. Personality come and go, but the principles remain. Adeola.
I just want to ask you about something. Have you holiday? What do you do? Do you have any kind of vacation, holiday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You use.
We do. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And then you just relax.
No, vacation for me is not. My own definition of vacation and holiday is different. Holiday for me is a time when we go, when I am free from the normal things that I do. So this schedule, this routine, for example, is there. You remember I said we have 40% that is free? So that 40% that is free, we could use it for holidays, maybe 2 times a year, 3 times a year, as many, because it's good. But when I go for holidays like vacation like that, it is a time for me not to be distracted by training leaders, pastors, I'm not doing all the normal things that I do. But then I can find time for what I want to do. That is holiday for me. So I'm not being distracted by you, by training, by HMT, by anything. But I have a lot of time. I'm with my wife. So we go to the beach, we go to the restaurant, we go to see friends. But then we still have a lot of time. So that's the best time for me to write new books, to read as many books as possible, to exercise, to just do things that I would have liked to do more and I didn't have time to do. So by the time I normally come back from holidays, I always write more books than here, read more books than here, look elsewhere, because I have all the time to myself to do what I want to do. So it's the most productive time for me. Vacation is the most productive time. For me, it's not vacation when you go and lie down and just and put your head off. I can lie down, but I can never put my head off.
No.
It's impossible, because even if you want to put your head off and lie down, your mind is still working. It's not possible for your mind to be off. So I lie down, but I lie down with something in my ear or with something in my hand to read. It's just normal. Even though I'm resting, the body is resting, but my mind, even if I'm not reading anything, my mind is still working. But I have to dictate to it what it should work on. So if I don't dictate to it what it should work on, it will be working on any other stupid thing there. Without my permission. I don't know if I answered your question. Okay. Now we go to you at last.
The stakes is getting higher. I'm just trying to see. Then I used to work with a pharmaceutical organization back then in Nigeria, and you are forced to do, there's something called standard operation procedure. You feel those things. He said every morning on Mondays you take assays of the pH of the waters in all the labs in different production departments. We do those things. We record them every day.
And you didn't understand why.
So I now begin to apply when you see organization work and you see things just flowing seamless and you think there is magic going on, I begin to connect that these are
because of routines.
These are the things, and the routine is what we complain that what's all this every morning you just fill paper, but you don't know. Yeah, you never knew that those things are in place in actually to keep the system going. So
that's the magic.
I just know that.
That's the magic.
Our life can be more predictable.
Yeah, those are the things that make life
what
predictable.
Dr. Sunday is teaching when we begin to submit and enslave ourselves to this. Thank you very much. Yes.
Wow.
Smart girl, smart girl. Smart lady.
So I think that's the edge that the West have over Africa.
The West lives only by that.
Yeah,
And it's a big edge.
big edge.
Everything, everywhere they have rules, instructions. Even to clean toilet, you have rules. Routine, yeah. I should continue. This is the most serious part of our lecture, and I'm definitely going to finish today. So, routine, remember that word. It's your friend. Huh? Huh? Cold? Are you cold? Cold. I can't believe it. Cold? Okay, make you close up then. You are African though. Me, I'm hot. Okay, we are going to close the window, don't worry. So, routine is your friend. But no, for normal human beings, they will be thinking it's burdensome. And it's okay, because that is how failures think. Yeah, so failures in life are the people who don't like to do what is complex, or things they don't like, things that doesn't fit them, things that that is disrupting their comfort. People don't do what they are uncomfortable with. But successors, they make themselves, they force themselves to do. For example, routine. No, a lot of times I talk about solitude. I don't know for who, but for me, solitude is like death every time. Solitude is dying, is demanding, especially when you are not eating and you are there for 7 days and you are not, doing anything else. You are not, it's like death. It's dying to yourself. It's not pleasant to me. The result is pleasant, but the process is deadly. But I have to force myself to do it each time. But I have people who tried it one time and they saw how difficult it is, and they just, this is why, this cup shall pass by me. They try to avoid it. Just like it's not easy to wake up every day at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. You don't have to, but if you have made that decision, you don't have to. But if you are putting in the routine and you think it's important for your purpose, because you should only put in routine things that will lead to your purpose being fulfilled. So the most important things in your life are not what your leader tells you or your pastor tells you, but the things that your routines tell you. The highest authority, the people, the things you obey most are the things that your routine. Now, you could put in that routine your leader too or your pastor too, but at least you have set it in there. Or only when you could do those things at the 40% that is free. So the highest authority should be, because your routines are matched together with your life purpose. So you remember that whatever your routines are telling you is only telling you your life purpose. It's only leading you to your life purpose. So that's why your life purpose is always more important than any other thing. That's why you cannot argue with your routines, because you cannot argue with your life purpose. So let's read that definition of routine again.
Number 5.
I think it will be getting clearer as we go.
Short-term plan for 1 year. Short-term plan. Identifying the routines, repetitive actions that are necessary in order to get the desired result.
The desired result is fulfillment of your purpose, of your plans. But routines are always repetitive. That's why people don't like it. So you remember I said you have to put the things there that are every day. And every day means repetitive every day. Every week, there are some programs that you need to do only every week or twice a week. That's also repetitive. Or every month or every year. So those are repetitive stuff. But once it's a routine and you lock yourself into it, you just have to automatically be going through it. Okay?
You have to believe in the long-term plan you have, but you need the short-term goals to motivate and inspire you.
So that's why you need those routines. Not just the big plan that you have. No, but what will take you there? Even without you thinking. Once you work out those routines, that all these things I'm doing every week, every day, every month, every year, or quarterly, or twice a year, once you are just going through them, you don't even need to think again. You are just going through them, automatically. So as long as you are repeating and you are going through those things automatically, you will get results. You don't even need to even bother again, because you have set it up. Once the repetitive something will be. For example, you are going out every day. Like for example, every year, every January or February, like this, I'm doing this retreat, HMT. Sorry, I'm doing this HMT with different people. I don't even ask myself the question anymore. So am I going to get results? Either I want to, or I don't want to. Results are being produced. Or like I put routine. I'm going to be appearing twice a day on Facebook. I'm just appearing because I'm doing the same thing every day. Either I like it, I don't like it, or results have been produced. I'm writing books, sitting down, coming up with books. Either I like it or not, because it's in the routine, it's coming. You see, every time you are saying, people are always wondering, we have not read the last one, because they want me to stop until they read. Now you are talking. They don't know that I have a routine under which I'm a servant. Even me, I'm a servant of that routine. For example, even when I started coming out to do the daily broadcast twice a day, people were trying to convince me and say, the one we are not succeeding in, in the one you taught this week, this series, we have not yet gotten its weight. Let it sink. So maybe you should stop, or you should repeat, or you should. So people will always try to, but they don't know that even me, I don't have power over it anymore, since it's a routine.
The wheel is spinning.
The wheel is spinning. I cannot come out. Or some people are saying that, okay, you pastor, see how much abuse is coming because of your Buhari promotion. Why should you promote him? Because I have addiction, and that addiction is the values, my life values. They compel me to do what I'm doing. I'm a servant to those values. Abuse don't change because they were not there when the values were taken. They don't stop it, they don't enhance it, they don't limit it. What has to be done has to be done. I don't decide anymore. Routines decide. Let's continue.
How to make a plan for the year. Number 1, determine what actions need to be taken to achieve the goal. Number 2.
You remember I told you, make a list of the actions. What are the particular actions, activities that will lead to, is it 1,000 member church? Is it leaders, 1,000 leaders you want to raise? So whatever point you have in your own goals and purpose, determine what are the functions, what are the activities that will lead to it. Then lock it up in the calendar for a whole year, yearly calendar, having decided the frequency. And what should you use as the criteria to decide the frequency? How urgent is that particular one? Or how desperate are you to, how much do you want it to be? What is the intensity or the amount of you want it to grow? So you decide the frequency of everyone, but lock them up once you decide. So that way you have a whole 1 year plan. Sometimes you will discover that days, if you want to just put every day, that 7 days only, and you have like 40 activities, then you begin to discover that, okay, there are some activities that will not come every day, maybe twice a week, maybe thrice a week. Or maybe they can come up every day, but some come up in the morning, some come up in the afternoon, some come up in the evening. So a day is long. Or once a week, or twice a week, or once a month. But it doesn't just have to be once a month. It could be once in 3 months. So it gives you more windows. So if you are talking about HMT, okay, you've planned it already in your something, 3 times a year or 2 times a year. So you don't even think about it anymore. It's there in your front all the time. you've planned it to the end of the year. You don't come back to that. It's automatic. So you walk towards those things. You don't have any option. Okay, so you understand? It is the list of actions that you make that would lead to your routine when you lock them up in a calendar and in a frequency. That is why you get a routine for it. Okay?
Number 2, turn these actions into routines.
You got that now, right? Okay.
Number 3, plan the year around the routines.
So it's in the calendar immediate. That's a year right there. Not from today. The way people, motivational preachers or teachers, motivational speakers, what do you call speakers, the way they teach you to do planning is that, okay, tomorrow you want to do that, or you are going to do events. They are just making you to plan events. No, it's not coming out, it's not connected to everything you are born for and and it's not looking from the top. It's just like, okay, I'm invited to that place today, I'm invited to that place tomorrow.
Organize.
Just organize. That's just organize.
Make the list, then what you want, and then put tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is what we are doing, but what they teach is just to organize.
Yeah.
But organize is different, they call it planning. It's totally different from what we are doing. So when I wrote a book, A Visionless Life is a Meaningless Life. People say, oh, I know what vision is. Oh, I've read books on vision. They don't know there's totally different approach. The approach in my book, Visionless Life is a Meaningless Life, is talking about God's approach, God's vision and God's understanding. That is the one we are now wrapping into your life. But what they call vision is ambition. Okay?
Example of Pastor Sunday. Global life goal of Pastor Sunday includes planting 10,000 churches and non-profit organizations to educate 50,000 ministers.
Yeah, so 10,000 churches, 10,000 NGOs to raise up 50,000 ministers. Okay?
But planting churches and organization is impossible without people.
So, since I have that a goal, 10,000 churches, what do I need? What is the primary thing for churches? People. So, you see, that's why that decision has been made. People. In all these elements that I'm talking about, it's people that I need. Ministers, they are people. NGOs, they are people. Church, they are people. So I must come up with I must then ask myself, what are the activities that will allow me to attract people? If I want to get leaders, 10,000 leaders, that means I have to have at least 10,000 people. And of course, since leaders can only be, everybody can become leader, but life tells you that maybe 20% only will become leaders. So it means I have to keep on getting people so that from them I will be converting the ones that are serious to leaders. So that is the most important assignment there. So that's why it comes first. So how do I resolve this assignment?
Determine the most effective actions. We need to determine the most effective action.
What do we call effective? What will bring me to that desire, to the people? That is the actions. What are the actions that will make people to come? That's what we call effective. Effective actions. What actions can I write down? What actions can I put down that will make people to come to me, or that will attract, that will make me to get people that I will later turn to leaders or turn to pastors and things?
Determine the most effective actions. We need to determine the most effective action through which people will be coming constantly. For example,
And the key words there is constantly. You don't just want people to come one time, but you want to put up a system and put it in routine that your actions will constantly be bringing people.
For example, evangelization,
Is going on, always going on. Those are called routines. So which means people will always be coming. Why? Because I need to convert them to leaders. I need to help them to get their vision. I need to release them to plant the churches and do all the things that we need them to do.
to gather a crowd is not enough. The ultimate goal, to turn all these people into 50,000 ministers.
So we already know that they are coming. People will be coming. We already put a program or routines that will make people to be coming. But those are just crowd. Then I need other set of activities to turn those crowd to leaders or to ministers. What are those activities? Leaders meetings, leaders schools, HMT, trainings. So I need to make a list of those ones now. So if I have the actions that make people to come, I already put them every week or every day. Those ones are done. That is done. So I finish with one of my things that I want. Then the second thing that I want, I need leaders to be. So what are the actions that will produce leaders? Training. I make a list of that one as well. Then I go to my calendar and I ask myself, how often do I want to be doing them? So I put them, 2 times a week, 2 times a month, and I put them in those calendar immediately. So those two those two goals of mine are already secured because they are going into routine. So by the time I finish all the goals, the routine, it doesn't matter if my calendar is not full. It doesn't have to be full, but at least what I have to be concerned is that all my goals are secured now. I just need to begin to implement the routines. So either I like it or not, by achieving the goals, just by doing my daily activities, daily things that I've already planned. Automatically, I'm just waking up and doing the thing. You see, I don't, like I said, the only thing that makes me to go out of this house is just court and church. Otherwise, I don't go. Why? Because I'm in routines. When I leave here, I'm in routine doing some other things. So those routines automatically, they're bringing results. I don't even think about it anymore. I don't struggle. Just doing what I've planned out. Okay?
Just one question, sir.
Yes.
Having put all these things down on paper and develop a routine on paper,
Yes.
how do we develop the discipline? Is there
Yes.
a particular
There's a routine
method
for that also.
to develop
The discipline.
the
yeah.
discipline to actually carry them out?
You don't need to develop the discipline. You only need to put the discipline in routine too. So, for example, every 5 o'clock or even 7 o'clock our time, I need to come out and do live broadcast. So I might forget, I might be tired, I might be sleeping, I might be in a meeting, but I have set up the routine all around me that even if I don't remember, even if I'm sick, even if I'm dying, even if I'm in emergency session, everything around me is crying at that point. 5 minutes though. First of all, my computer is reminding me. Secondly, my device is talking. Thirdly, my assistants. So all your assistants, all people around you, all of them are set up to just. Everybody is calling you. They are looking for you. So until when it is 15 minutes or 5 minutes and I'm not there, then they are up in my room or they are up in the emergency. They are supposed to be there. Or you don't get it. So everybody, everything around me is reminding me of all my routines. Okay, for example, I need to write a book today, and so I have somebody who I'm writing it with, or 2 persons. So even if I'm not ready or I forgot, that person has arrived. So they are calling me, or they are calling me and say, okay, the person they are waiting for you, or they have come. What do we say? Oh, I forgot. You run. I don't know if you get it or not. Okay, for example, I need to go to town and I didn't even remember it, but because it's already in the routine is with somebody, people are looking at it all the time, and I'm doing something or I'm having a meeting, but they said the driver has arrived. What driver? What's happening? Then the secretary is okay. So I cannot run away. I cannot be sick. I cannot be dead. I cannot Then the security are coming. Then this one is coming. Everybody. So everything you have. You might not have people like I'm saying, but you have clock, you have telephone, you have device, you have this. Everything is. So it's not. I don't even allow myself to remind myself. I don't even bother myself about reminding myself. I set systems in place to be reminding me too. I don't even need to have the discipline. I don't even need to think about the discipline. The system themselves is pushing me to do it because. So I don't even need to think about. I cannot. I have this. I don't have this. The thing is pushing me into it because it's planned there already. And when it's planned, it's planned. You have to do it. And everybody, everything around your life is saying, this is the next one. This is the next one. I don't know if you get that part, or it's not so. Okay. So let's continue then.
To gather a crowd is not enough. The ultimate goal, to turn all these people into 50,000 ministers and leaders, we need to find different ways which will help to transform the ordinary people into leaders and ministers. These ways can be mentorship groups, retreats, leadership schools. All of them must be routines.
So those are the list of activities. Then once you have decided all of them, then put them in the calendar routine and decide the frequency of them. And it's locked. It's landlocked. And you know when something is landlocked, finito. You cannot go to the sea and escape both without help. Landlocked.
All subsequent tasks we fulfill in this same manner. Pastor Sunday's tasks: plant new churches, open non-profit organizations, refuge towns, educate activists and reformers. We need to determine what actions can help to fulfill all these tasks and turn 3, 4, 5 repetitive actions into a habit in routine.
I don't know if that is clear or not. So these are some other goals. Decide for each one of them what activities will lead you automatically to fulfilling those goals. What are the activities that will lead you automatically to fulfilling the next goals? What are the activities that will lead you automatically to fulfilling the third goals? What are the you just sit down and say what are the activities that will lead to automatic finish of this, and then lock them up in the routine.